Good evening. Hey, you guys. Welcome to the ASV's Magellan's Expedition live stream. Hang on, we've got a bit of a problem happening there. But we'll fix that. So, welcome to the ASV's Magellan's Magical Galactic Exploration. I know we've rescheduled this event a few times, but hold on a tick. I've got a double up happening here. Let's see if that's gone now. I think it has gone now. That's better. Sorry about that. We had some reverberation. I know we've rescheduled this event a few times, but as we say here at the ASV, astronomers never say die. And when we live stream, it's our time. But before we begin, I'd like to say that in the spirit of reconciliation, the Astronomical Society of Victoria acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and the community. We pay our respect to the elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. So listen, okay? You guys will never believe me. There were two galaxies, okay? And they were chasing the Milky Way Galaxy, this really neat galaxy, and there were nebula and star clusters flying all over the place. It was the most amazing thing we ever saw. But before we begin streaming these images for you, there's something I need to say, a little bit of a Christmas ditty. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There's just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want clear skies for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All we want for Christmas is clear skies too. Now, remember, if you're enjoying tonight's stream on Facebook, you can donate stars. Those on YouTube can donate stickers. No matter how large or small your donation is, it is welcome. And if you're watching us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook. For now, we'll get streaming. With our technical difficulties out of the way, we'll bring our two streamers in tonight, Lee and Andy.
Good evening.
Howdy.
And yes, Lee, was way out of sync because something was happening in the background and it wasn't liking me at all.
Yeah, it sounded like you had. It was almost like you had two StreamYard sessions open.
I feel like it thought I did, but I think I know what it was, but it's all right. It's fixed now. So tonight we're going to share with you the Magellanic Clouds and the nebula contained within it, and some star clusters as well, because it's a very there's a lot happening in the large and the small Magellanic Cloud. A lot. We don't know a lot about the star clusters and the nebula that are within them, but we're going to share them with you anyway. We seem to have lost Lee's feed.
No, that's all right. I'm just getting ready with another. I was just going to show the image I put together of that composite image.
Oh, okay. Let's start with your composite image.
It's a bit of an odd one, anyway, or a mosaic. Yeah, no, keep going. You were saying we're
going to look at the large and small Magellanic Clouds tonight. Anne-Marie's hopefully going to join us if she can get things going. She's had some internet troubles at the moment. She's trying to hotspot from her phone to hook in with us. Hopefully she can do that. If not, we'll have to put up with Lee and Andy's images. Sorry, guys.
Cheers.
I've fixed my focus problems. So I'm nearly getting there.
You got rid of the clouds as well from Cloudwood?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At the moment, yes.
Okay. So when you're ready, Lee, if you want to share your composite image.
So speaking of cloud free, so I was on the weekend. I was up at our dark sky site doing some works up there. We had sorting out some internet issues and optical fiber issues, but I did manage overnight last night to put my camera, the DSLR, out and just set it taking. It was around about 3,000 frames. This is actually a very small portion of them, and I just had it completely still. The idea was I just wanted to see if I could mosaic this eventually. And it's a very small lens, so we can't really see a huge amount of detail, but we can certainly see we've got the Milky Way here. And up here is where we're now going to be looking tonight. So we've got the large Magellanic Cloud here and small Magellanic there. So
minus the random trees flying around.
Yeah, minus the trees. Yeah, so that's just a result of the stacking process. But I pointed out that if I had got a full sort of 12 hours of this, we would have had an exact sort of semicircle here as this creates each of these. But in fact, this is only it's probably about as many images here plus sort of times 10 stacked. And I took over 3,000 images over the span of 9.5 hours, I think. So it just sort of shows, the amount of extra data you can get with, and this is with a very small lens as well.
Can you explain a bit about what happened with that photo there with the rotation of the trees in your image?
Yeah, let me just get back there. So if we look at, it's probably, maybe if I do this here. So if you can imagine, this is the first photo that was taken. And then because the Earth's rotating, but the camera is still, every subsequent photo that was taken, and I can't hang on. Let me just that's what I wanted to do. Hang on, cancel that. We go back out a little bit. So every subsequent, I was going to put a grid there. That's annoying. Every subsequent photo is effectively taken like this. So we're seeing the rotation of the Earth, but the frame that the photo is taken in is, obviously just whatever the camera field of view is. So that's why each sort of stacked image, there we go, that's 90 degrees around. So that would have been one of the last ones if it was only, so 90 degrees would be 6 hours of data. But I did do more, so it sort of kept going around. So that's why the trees in each of the images are just, the trees were actually static in the frame of shot, but the sky was moving around.
Can I ask you why the sky was moving around, Lee?
Because the Earth's spinning, because we're on a globe.
Yeah. That's it? So, that's all you got? Yeah. Now, can you deal with those trees in this image, or?
I probably could. Yeah, I probably could mask them out. And in fact, you can see what ends up happening is over here, they're almost completely gone, because what I did with this is, out of those 3,000 images, I only chose 10 images in sets of sort of every 100 images. If I had chosen all 3,000 images and told them to stack, it most likely would have done what's happening over here. So you see each probably wouldn't have done sort of here, but a lot of these would disappear. In fact, you can sort of see up here. There would be. Oh no, there wouldn't be trees there. Sorry.
You can see a little bit of a curve there. You can actually see the shape of the curve as you zoom in there.
Yeah, but you can see that there's what it's done here is it's decided that like the stacking software has effectively decided I've got more data where there's stars than I have trees, so it's just one layer out of 10, for instance, where there's a tree. So as it's stacked every other bit where because in this first shot here, in that one, if you can imagine, everything that's down here is below the horizon at that point.
Yeah.
And as it spins around and comes up, then it's visible. But in the first instance, there's nothing. And as each shot is taken, it sort of blends it all together. So, but of course, that process of doing 3,000, I got back from the dark sky side at whatever time it was, midday, and I had a few things to do, and I think I set one of these going and went to bed around 4 o'clock. So
this afternoon, yes. Yep.
Yeah, it was a very long night. So
Andy, you've got something quickly. I just noticed you've got this this shown on yours. So this is a little bit different to what Lee was sharing with us. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, it's the same sort of thing what he's done, but this is only for about 40 minutes, I think. Looking at the same area, looking south, and you can't quite see the clouds, but I can see Eta Carina here, this patch here.
Dark, yeah.
That's where and I've got caught one little meteor going through, but I think that's right. Here's the clouds here. I'll try and find I've got a still of this. So this program it keeps one frame as a static picture and then does a star trail of it. It's called Star Trails. It's a free program, and but it sort of overlays. So you sort of get a star trails, but it keeps one picture which overlays that, and then you sort of blend that a bit. Because I've got one I'll take here. Where's that gone? Somewhere. I'll find the still. It's pretty looking at the same area here.
Yeah. So this is this is essentially a still that gives an idea
of pretty well where it is.
And the area we're looking in tonight is that area, those two small blobs, we'll call them, the large and the small Magellanic Cloud.
Yeah. Yeah. But
so all of the stuff we're going to see tonight is going to be contained within those two areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're tiny in a way.
Wow.
For me.
They're not that tiny.
No, they're huge. In real terms, in galaxy size, they're actually huge. You know, compared to the Milky Way, they're like and they're like in here the Tarantula Galaxy. Where is it? That's and
well, that large one there, the large Magellanic Cloud, is around about 160,000 light years away.
Yeah,
not very far at all.
No,
it's
pretty close. Pretty close talking about it. Yeah. It's around about 14,000 light years across as well. So it's not huge in size, but it's quite close to us.
I did just have one more thing actually. Hopefully this will show. Let me just see.
Yep. And then Anne-Marie has joined us. Yep. Welcome aboard, Anne-Marie. You've got your hotspot working.
So this was this is 2,500 frames over 50 seconds. So just showing.
This is from Heathcote, obviously from our dark sky site.
Yeah. So you can see the two clouds just there.
You can just make them out there. Yeah. So that's the area we're going to focus on tonight.
And I've got a few meteors and satellites and planes and everything else, as you do. Oh, it's going at extremely poor resolution. Sorry. There we go.
There we go. Look at that. That's much better.
See Eta Carina rising as it sort of, as Andy was saying before in that star trails, you could sort of see the extremely light area was Eta Carina, and then over the other side, it was fairly easy to know that they were the clouds. And look at that, it's spinning almost as though we're on a globe.
Almost as though we're on a globe. I like that.
Almost as though. Yep.
Yes.
We are on a globe.
We're not on a flat disc, are we?
We might be on a flat disc. Who knows? Who knows?
Sometimes.
Where's the
Anne-Marie, did you want to... I saw you had an image up just before that you obviously were working on. Was that the first object on our list?
If I can get it back. It is.
Yeah,
it's
if you can get it back. So those watching at home, Anne-Marie's working off her hotspot because her internet went down. And she's out near Malden area, so she's doing a great job to actually be online with us at the moment. So
it doesn't want to work.
We're dealing with all sorts of gremlins tonight. From
I can see you're even
my voice echoing to Anne-Marie not having internet. All sorts of different bits and pieces.
You're even a different spot. Are you actually in the dome? Is this your dome, Anne-Marie?
No, she's
Sorry,
in the.
No, this is the kennel's office.
Where?
Dome's behind me. It's actually closer than when I'm inside, but there we
Not
go.
a cube. It's a cube, not a dome.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
It's a cube. It's a roll-off
Telstradome's
cube.
not too.
There we go.
Can you
So
see that?
Andy, no, we're going to wait for you. So we're going to jump to Andy's just quickly. Andy, do you want to let us know what we're looking at while Anne-Marie gets hers up?
I'm just a bit ahead of everyone, so
Are you? Of course you are.
yeah, I'm looking at. Sorry about this, but this is NGC 460 at the moment. Sorry,
So
guys.
so that will have
I jumped
NGC
ahead.
456 in the field of view as well.
Yep, it would do because my camera's not a tiny little camera, so this is. I'm going to get. I can probably do 5 objects in one. And I'm zoomed in, and that was a 3-minute image because I've got my HA filter on, which cuts a lot of. And I've only got a DSLR, so I'm losing a lot of light.
And we're dealing with the moon tonight as well.
Yeah, if I put my normal, if I didn't have the HA filter on, it'd be all blown out at the moment.
Can you zoom in a little bit for us on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're looking at is an open cluster with some nebulosity around it. So the open cluster part is NGC 460, discovered in 1826 by James Dunlop. Good old James Dunlop, the Mr. Parramatta, as I like to call him. That's where most of his stuff was discovered. Although also discovered by John Herschel in 1834, who took the official discovery, even though the Aussie, well, he's not an Aussie, James Dunlop, I think, was Scottish or something.
Scottish. Yeah, he was Scottish.
We'll claim him as an Aussie because he discovered it in Australia.
That's right.
Beat him by about 8 years. So it's just an open star cluster with some nebulosity floating around. There's not a great deal of information on the object other than that. So we can't tell you a great deal more than that about it. But it's just another area of the I think it's the small Magellanic Cloud.
Yep.
With a whole lot of little areas of nebulosity in there. Some of the astrophotographers from the ASV have been working, I guess, a lot more closely than this on some of these areas. Anne-Marie has as well, I know that much. So there's some stuff we will share over the next few weeks to do with the small Magellanic Cloud and large Magellanic Cloud as well. Now we've got a question here, which I think I'll be able to answer. Shahir has a question. Where is the nearest dark sky site close to the northern suburbs of Melbourne, especially Mill Park? Well, I guess anywhere north of Mill Park, if you've got telescope equipment, is fairly dark. But when it comes to Astronomical Society dark sky sites, it would be the ASV's dark sky site, which is just north of Heathcote. So from Mill Park, probably an hour to an hour and a half away, I would say. From the dark sky site that we have. You need to be a member unless you would like to come to our star party. General public are allowed to come to our star party this year. Tickets are on the website, Facebook page. But yeah, our dark sky site would be the nearest point to Mill Park for good dark skies with decent equipment that you could look through. Now, Anne-Marie, what are we looking at?
This one's NGC 456 in the small Magellanic Cloud.
This is the one that sort of encompasses 460 as well.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so
and
it's an emission
465 and
nebula.
IC 1662 and IC 1644.
Yeah, so it's an emission nebula that's in the small Magellanic Cloud. Reddish white nebula. It also has, it's also got 460 buried within it as well.
Yep.
So the open cluster within this image is 460. Was that right? Yeah, 460, and the nebulosity part that we can see is 456. Again, discovered by our man James Dunlop in 1826.
Sorry, it's dropped out on me.
That's okay.
That's all right.
We'll work with that.
We had a backup.
We had a backup. Have you got it on the backup? Lee's got it on backup. There we go.
I was just waiting for the perfect moment to because obviously when you first share it, it goes straight in. Yeah,
jump in and claim the credit for Anne-Marie's hard work.
If I can get back on, I'll go on to the next one.
So, Lee, what are you using to image this at the moment?
So camera-wise, this is it's an ASI 2600 mm Pro, which is a cooled CMOS camera. Let me just have a look. What am I? It's been so long since I've even imaged. I can't even find. There's my thermal controls.
Just look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So, in fact, it's showing at the moment that it's not down to a low temperature, but I can probably get that lower, which will just take a bit of noise out of this. Not a huge amount, but it's more hot pixels. So I've got a HA filter on this again because it's HA emission nebula. We'd get all the stars ordinarily, but we wouldn't see all these.
When you talk about HA, so what are we saying with that? What is a HA filter?
Yep, so it's hydrogen alpha, which is the wavelength of the materials that make up the nebula are effectively predominantly hydrogen. So that the wavelength of light that comes from them is hydrogen. So we want to filter specifically for that. You'll still get bleeding from other light sources as well, such as, most stars have got hydrogen in them anyway. But if I didn't have the hydrogen filter on, we wouldn't see this, we would see some of, but not all, this nebulosity and these little sections out here. So it's not really a case where hydrogen or any of the filters block out other light wavelengths. It's just they're more attuned to being able to receive those wavelengths.
Now, I just want to give a shout out to Jamie and Sue for their stars they've donated to us on the stream tonight. Thank you very much for those. Much appreciated. Anne-Marie, have you got the next one up that you wanted to share with us?
No,
Still working on that one?
No, I think the computer out there's frozen.
It's not enjoying it.
I'm going
Andy,
out to have a look.
You go out and have a look. All right, we'll work. We're working with what we've got tonight. We've got some gremlins floating around. So,
Yep.
What was the next? What was the next one? Oh, okay, we're going 460. Was it?
Have you got the next one up there, Andy? What have you got?
Yeah, it's still loading up.
We'll jump
This
across
is
to you
460.
anyway.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it.
Here we go. Work in progress. Everyone watch how an astrophotographer finds the object in the night sky, especially when it's a difficult one like these ones are. Some of these are fairly small objects that we're trying to find.
Which one are we going for?
Thank you to Daniela for the stars as well. Much appreciated.
What are we after next? Because I thought I heard it 460, but Andy was already on 460.
Yeah, I'm on 460.
Yes. So the next object is 267, NGC 267.
I'll go for that one.
Go for that one.
So,
I won't tell you guys too much about NGC 267 just yet because there's not a lot to tell, and I don't want to spoil the party until we get there. So we're going to watch Lee slew across to NGC 267 live. This will be quite an interesting thing to watch.
So
You'll see a whole lot of a whole lot of nothingness for a while.
I'll change a few settings just so you can sort of see it happening. So, in fact, did I already slew? Did I say I slewed? Hang on. Let me just.
So explain what you're doing here, Lee.
Yeah. So hang on. I'll just move away for a sec.
Yep.
And then I'll go back to what we were doing. So, so the first thing I want to do is change a few settings in the camera because previously I was doing 60-second shots, which we can see here. Which means if you slew and you move across to things, you may miss seeing things going past. So I'll change this down to let's say just under 2 seconds, maybe even a 1 second or thereabouts. And then I change the histogram. So this is where all the light is within the sensor. And what we want to do is come to a point where we can see all the light. At the moment, I've still got the HA filter selected. So I'll go to an IR filter, which is it's a infrared and UV filter. So it allows a hell of a lot of actual light in. So now we can see that we're on a star somewhere or other. So what I'm going to do in Stellarium, which is able to control the mount, I'll search for our target, which was NGC 267, which is over there somewhere. Make sure that's the right object. Now, as soon as I click on slew, we'll see the stars start moving and shooting around. The thing is, I don't know if this is exactly where we want to be. Yes, it says that we're on the target here, but I can't tell for sure whether that is the target. So there's a little button here in the program we use called SharpCap, which will do a plate solve. So it grabs this image.
So what's a plate solve?
Yep. So it grabs this image and it puts it into either a local program or it sends it off to a site called astrometry.net. And the plate solve is where it looks at a certain number of stars of certain brightness, matches where they are, and as you can see just up the top here, it says move synced RA, blah blah blah. So we were roughly in the right spot. It only moved about this far, but it just knows based on these details here the right ascension and declination, all the exact settings to send the telescope to the mount. And what I would normally do as well, and I think I'm just seeing some movement there. Hang on, I might be near meridian. So now that I've done that, you'll actually see that
you're very close to meridian, actually.
Yeah.
Based on...
In fact, you'll see how that's moving. It's because it can't go any further. So, but what I can do is I can tell. See, that's moving by itself. So what it is, the telescope's actually at the limit. So now that it sort of does this little bit of jogging. If I scroll all the way out,
yeah, you've got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, so it doesn't like being close. I've got a few settings I need to change.
So do you want to explain meridian while you're doing that so people understand why you have to do what you're doing at the moment?
Hopefully I can, yeah. It might be.
You've explained it better than I could.
Let me just see if I've got a photo. I probably do. Okay, this is probably reasonable. How can I explain this? Hang on. So the axis here is called the right ascension. That's the RA axis, and the telescope spins. It follows the transit of the stars and everything on what we call the sidereal rate, which is the 23.9 hours in a day. So it's 24 hours minus 4 minutes. And it just spins at that rate. So it's very, very slow. But you can sort of see here, if I was to spin this all the way on this side here, it's going to hit the mount. And the meridian is, I suppose you could say, a line or an imaginary line, where this is the south celestial pole that we line up on. And you can see south is right there. And if we draw a line straight up from that through the celestial south pole and to this line here, that's the meridian. Now, what it means is at one point, the telescope will be on this side and the weights will be on this side. And when it hits meridian, it can't go any further because the telescope may hit into the pier or so on. So what we would actually want to do is do a flip. so that this telescope comes over this side, and the weight's on the other side. And it's a bit of a process that the telescope does, but it knows exactly how to do it. The only problem is while it's at this point here, and before it gets there, unfortunately my mount software at the moment is just it can have a bit of a problem and say, well, I'm near meridian, but I don't want to split.
Wow.
Wow.
We'll blame Anne Marie for that because she jumped out and jumped back in.
That happened when I went in the TARDIS.
Completely her fault. Yeah, we did sound like. So, Lee, we got a little bit of time, obviously, while you try and do that. And we've got a question on YouTube from Martina. What telescopes are you all using? General brand, just curious. So while you're trying to do your meridian flip for us, each of you, Anne-Marie, Andy, Lee, one after the other, if you want to explain what you've got, the equipment. So what you're using.
I could probably go.
A little
I know
bit
Andy's
fancier than the phone that I use.
Yeah. So this is a Saxon EQ6R GT mount. The telescope is a Celestron. You can't see the camera; it's around the back. The camera is a ZWO ASI 2600, and then there's a guide scope here as well. That's actually a solar filter on the end of that at the moment. And then this is just a pier that I've built to hold it all instead of the standard legs that come with it, but they're more than adequate for a lot of needs. So I think Andy's getting the photo of his setup up.
Andy with his Andy, that is not your tent. You're lying. It doesn't look anything like that at the moment.
No,
there's not enough gaffer tape on it to be your tent.
No, it's the same tent, but it's before the wind, before the
storms we had,
the hail and stuff. Look, this is this is taken just after Halloween last year, so that was a year ago. But this is my scope. This is before the accident. But it's a Skywatcher 150 Newtonian, 150 millimeter, or a 6-inch Newtonian. And I'm on a HEQ5 mount, but I'm using a DSLR. I'm using an old Canon 450D. It's about a 13-year-old camera now, and it's been astro modded, so it's had its IR filter removed. And this is my little guide scope with my little guide camera. That's my little planetary camera as well. I use it. I've got a spare one, but yeah, this gets me by, and I'm still in this tent. I'll dig up a proper photo of what it looks like now, but that was probably when it was only.
It looks nothing like that now. The blood is still there from all those bodies that you.
Yeah, well, I'm out in the country in a very dark skies.
It was absolutely Halloween, wasn't it?
It was Halloween, but we're not going into that. I hope this is not live anyway.
You know it's live. So we've got a follow-up question to that while Anne-Marie sorts her stuff out as well. Sigal wants to know, like, setup cost. What are we looking at for yours, for instance?
For mine, it was cheap because I bought everything secondhand. Like I paid $750 for the mount. I think it was $230 for the camera, $200 for the tube. I paid more for the guide camera and the actual guide scope. Cost me more, and the cables and stuff.
So you're probably looking at $1,500 for your setup.
Max, yeah, $1,500. Yeah.
Lee, dare we ask?
I'm not too sure about new, but I think there'd be a bit more than that. But I
think Lee's spent a bit more than you've spent. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can.
Yep. Probably the equivalent of a small car.
How small? How small is the car?
How small is the car?
Probably not small enough.
And how many dollars were involved in what you used? Come on.
Oh, well, look, it's So the scope was about the scope, which included a mount, was I think that was 3,900. The camera is 3,900. So they're actually roughly the same price, each of them. Then the mount was 2,900. So it's, yeah, as I said, it's definitely small car worthy.
Cigar, yes, it's about that would be Mini Cooper worthy.
Yeah. And in fact, well, the funny thing is, though, in terms of by the time I travel up to the dark sky site and I have all my gear and the telescope and the mount and everything in it, you could probably fit a Mini Cooper in my van better than you could fit all my gear. So
I've seen you try and fit your gear into the van. Now, Anne-Marie is back with us, and I'm curious to know, I'm sure the viewers are curious to know what gear she's using, and Anne-Marie's husband know how much you spent on your gear.
I can tell you what I'm using, but I couldn't tell you what the cost is.
That's a scary thought that you don't even know what it costs.
No,
It says to me that it costs too much.
It does.
What are you using, Anne-Marie?
I have the Skywatcher EQ6R. I did buy it secondhand, but it was fairly close to new. What do we call it? It's a sidereal trading modified 10-inch Newtonian reflector.
Yep.
And the modifications were, it was initially a Saxon 10-inch reflector, and we replaced the barrel with the carbon fibre. I had the spider replaced. I have a moonlight focuser put on it. I can't remember what else I've done. A few other bits and pieces. I had it all flocked inside so that there was no shadows coming from inside. And what else did I have done to it? I don't know. But see, this is where I don't know what the costs were. I just one thing after the other. And I have a ZWO ASI 1600 mm, so monochrome camera with estrogen filters. And I have a little 120 mm guide camera, off-axis guider. And I don't know. I couldn't hazard a guess how much it was.
Well, we've got a
different
question
times,
specific to you, Anne-Marie.
That's my excuse anyway.
Just before I jump onto the question for you that someone's popped in the chat there, Anne-Marie, I just wanted to let everyone know that Lee's got NGC 267, which is the open cluster that we were talking about before.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. A lot of stuff happening in NGC 267, that's for sure. So there is some nebulosity hiding in there as well, but it's more of an open cluster than anything. Anne-Marie, there's a question for you from Darren. What does Anne-Marie find the main advantage of a carbon fibre tube? So why a carbon fibre tube telescope?
Oops.
Yeah, that was the weight. I had a lot of trouble with the weight. I couldn't lift the thing. And so I spoke to Diego and he suggested I go carbon fibre just to take some weight off. There was a few other things that we did as well. Because the EQ6R was pretty much getting up to maximum weight. So that's
so the
why
weight
we did
is
it.
more for the telescope than you, though. Sorry, for the mount than you, though, isn't it?
Well, it was both. It was both. I mean, at that stage, I didn't have the dome, so I was carrying it in and out. Well, actually, I wasn't. I had to get my husband to do it every night. And, it wasn't much fun. I couldn't leave it out because of the weight. If I put any covers on it, if the wind came, it would actually move. And I had one night I went out there and it was all upside down. So that's when the dome decided to come.
The dome said, "I'm on my way to rescue," like all good superhero photography domes do. You need to be rescued. I'm coming for you. More like you chose to have the dome. So, what's the dome do for you? Like, obviously, it helps with the wind issues. Does it help with anything else for you, or is it more so just the wind?
Well, it helps with everything. It helps me just to pack up quickly at night time, just shut the lid.
Shut the roof, that's it. Yeah.
If the wind's, like tonight, the wind's coming from the south, so facing the way we are is not ideal. But with a reflector, with a big reflector like that, any wind and they get a lot of movement. So yeah, I did find with my little my refractor, I find the wind is really not an issue. But yeah, with this thing it is. So, but that look, it's just the ease of not having for me to carry it out every night and set it up.
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't like leaving them out.
I hear you. I'm using the ASV's 12-inch mead at the moment. And as much as I'm very, very grateful that I've got access to it, tell you what, that thing is so heavy.
Yep.
It's ridiculously heavy. It's my gym trip for the week every night that I drag it out on a clear sky. It's so heavy. I reckon it must weigh close to 20 kilos, that thing.
That's funny. As soon as you started to say as much as I thought you were going to say as much as I'm buff. It's a hard.
No, I'm not buff. I'm far from buff. But like as much as I love the fact that I have access to it, and hopefully to become one of our remote observatory telescopes soon. And that was part of why I was testing it out, just to make sure it was good to go. It's heavy. It really is heavy. So if there is an opportunity for anyone who's got a big scope to just put it in a dome and not have to worry about lugging it in and out every day or whenever there's a clear sky, then yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we've got another question. Any beginner telescope or binocular recommendations? Shahir already has a Celestron Skymaster 15 by 70 astro binoculars, more looking at deep sky objects.
Visual or astrophotography?
Oh, there we go, Shahir. Visual or imaging? So visual-wise...
Well, obviously, visual if you've got binoculars.
Binocular 15 by 70 is pretty good from a binocular point of view. Good. Yeah.
Just need
that's
a
actually fair. Yeah, that's a fair bit of...
I've actually seen... Oh, so visual. He's saying visual. I've actually seen some people who have modded their binoculars on tripods or bipods or whatever you call it, the singular sticks.
Monopods.
Monopod, that's the word.
Yeah.
Who have modded them and created the attachments so that they can actually hook their phones onto them and take images with them. I've seen that recently quite a lot. But if you're looking visual-wise, other than binoculars, the binoculars you've got are pretty good. I would say probably you'd be looking at the good old 8-inch Dob. From a Dobsonian point of view, Lee, what about a refractor? What would you say from a refractor?
5 or 6 inch, maybe.
Yeah, 6 inch refractor. Oh, he's going to grab something. Let's pop this all on screen so we can see what Lee's grabbing.
So this is a 5-inch.
Yep.
Newtonian.
So something like that.
This is about 30. 20 plus years old. It was one that it's not that we necessarily recommend the location as such, but it was from one of the various geographic places, either National or Australia Geographic.
One of the ones that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's a Tasco, which is, I mean, they were a very popular brand.
It's not a Tesco. It's a Tasco, not a Tesco.
Tesco's,
yeah. They were quite popular, but they're not really considered the best. But the reality with this one is the mirror in it is actually a proper mirror. Like, it's not just a reflective coating that's just been put on something. It's a full piece of glass that properly polished and mirror. I can't remember, turned into a mirror. And it's usually the eyepieces with a lot of these things. When you get those scopes in cheap sort of stores and things, it's the eyepieces that are pretty horrible.
Throw them away.
Yeah, throw the eyepieces away. Yeah. The scopes are usually okay, but it's something like that. Like, as I said, I'm pretty sure 20 odd years ago we paid $900 for it, so that would have been a fair bit back then. but you can get something like that for $50 on eBay.
Or less.
If you or less, yeah.
Well,
But
as Paul
similar,
said, an ED80 is perfect viewing.
yeah.
And for what we're looking at the moment, he's spot on. I've got an 80mm myself. It's not an ED80. It's a short
I love
tube.
my ED80.
I want one too now that all you guys have got one.
Well, I haven't yet. I'm still waiting for Amazon to deliver it. Sorry, for Toll to deliver from
Toll
Amazon.
to deliver it. So the next question, while we're waiting for Meridian Flip, we're waiting for Meridian Flip at the moment for those who are watching us. James has a question for me, the astrophotographer. What do I use and what does it cost? Well, first up, I use this, which is my P30 Lite, and it cost me whatever a phone costs. I think this one's about $350. But it more so is it's my phone. So from an astronomy point of view, it costs nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, well, tax rate. Yeah. Then I've got this. I don't know if you can see. But hang on. Let's just go back to us. This one here, you can see behind me is an 8-inch Mead that I use occasionally. I've not used it recently because I've got some other toys that I'm playing with. Which one of them is the 12-inch?
Can I just show you something quickly?
Yeah.
See this little object here?
Yeah.
There's something moving there.
That'll be a satellite.
I don't know what it is. The problem is I'm halfway between.
A satellite. It's got to be a satellite.
Yeah.
But back to me,
I'm
Lee.
on Meridian. So, yeah, sorry.
We're talking about me at the moment, Lee, not you.
It's all about
We're
me.
talking about me. We're not talking about you. At the moment, I'm using what I call young Frankenstein. I will actually bring it over.
Don't hurt yourself. You'll do it. Oh no, it's a small one.
It's a small one.
Turn it around that way. We'll show everybody. So, at the moment, this is what I'm using, which is an Orion 80mm short tube on a Skywatcher Star Adventurer. And I've also got the phone attachment for Star Trails. But this is what I'm doing all my work on at the moment. That cost me nothing. Well, we call me the cheapskate astronomer. That wasn't really expensive either. The stand cost me about $40, I think. And these other bits and pieces from Sidereal Trading cost me around about the same. The Saxon came from Optic Central, was donated to me by Optic Central. So if you play things right, guys, you can get some pretty cool gear and not pay a cent. But yeah, this is what I'm using at the moment from an astrophotography point of view. And quite literally, I take this piece here with that, and I hook that onto here, onto the eyepiece, and take my images. A little bit different to what everyone else does, but that's what I'm doing, James, at the moment. And it's kind of like the old proof in the pudding that it doesn't take a lot to have a little bit of fun. I'm not as serious as the other guys are with what they're doing. I enjoy having a bit of fun with it. But yeah, you don't have to spend a lot. There we go. I'm back now. Now we've got a couple other questions there that aren't about me. Sue wanted to know, are there any portable domes suitable for astronomy? There are a lot of portable domes suitable for astronomy, but the question is, do you really need them? It's only when you're getting to the level that Anne-Marie's up to that you really want a dome. Generally, most of the guys that do, or most of the people that do astrophotography in the ASV don't have domes. Lee doesn't have a dome. Andy doesn't have a dome.
I want a dome tent. I might get a dome tent though.
You have a dome tent that you sit in, but your telescope doesn't sit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I as I said, I'm one of those ones that with that. Actually, I was thinking just one of the other images. You'll see here. Oh, no. For my messy garage.
Yeah, I was going to
So
say, no one wants to see your messy garage.
Yeah, so we'll just try and limit that. So my pier that I've built is on a thick aluminium plate and then welded steel with wheels, so I can wheel that in and out of the garage. There's a UPS there, and then it goes up to the a base plate, and then the mount, and then the scope. The only thing I don't have on when I wheel it in and out of the garage is I don't have the scope on it because I don't want, because it is a bit. It jolts a little bit, and I don't want to, misalign the mirrors and things like that. So but yeah, there's no way I could really be lifting the pier up and down every time and moving it. But and the scope for my setup is reasonably when it's just that, because I bring the pier out to my sort of spot in the front from the garage and wheel it out. There's no weight involved in that, and the scope itself is reasonably light. But I would absolutely love to have a dome. It's just not possible where we live at the moment. So
Sue is saying that her scope is really heavy and she doesn't want to have to connect it and disconnect it and drag it in and out. So if that's the case, Sue, if you're going to use it if you're going to use it a lot and you don't want to be lugging it in and out, then absolutely go and talk to and one of the astronomy businesses that are out there and have a chat to them about a dome. There are quite a few options, that's for sure. But don't do it just because. Do it if you're going to be using your gear a lot. Otherwise, it's one of those ones that, if you're just going to spend thousands of dollars in a dome and you're not really going to use your equipment very often, it's a lot of money to spend. But if you're going to be using it a lot, then by all means, go down that path. Paul Elbers, can Deep Sky stack raw files?
Yes.
it can indeed. Yes.
There you go, Paul. It can indeed.
So it'll do. It either does the FITS files, which are I suppose you could say a raw version that a lot of astronomy software such as SharpCap and Nina will take, but it will also stack CR2s from Canon RAWs, and ARWs from Sony. So pretty much it'll stack. I suppose the question being asked is because it'll do JPEGs as well and TIFFs, I'm sure. I suppose the danger if you're doing TIFFs are quite a large file format. Yeah, so you want to have the processing power for it to load them up and work with.
Now,
that said, if I actually do RAWs out of my Sony A7R III DSLR, any RAWs of those are 80 meg each. So that's more than what I get out of this camera here, which are 50 meg.
So while we're looking at this camera here, what are we looking at the moment? Is this?
I don't know. I think I had to go slightly off list just while we were.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you meant to know what we're moving to.
No, I had to
Just
go
one
off
of those
list
things.
because just one of those. Because one of the targets we had was just on Meridian and it was having a bit of an issue, so I've pushed across to NGC 330.
330,
which I don't think we really had that on the list.
No, we didn't have NGC 330, but let's have a look at it, shall we?
Yeah, so because there's something else that's sort of there's something else near it as well, but I just like how well it shows up.
So you've got the open cluster there, which is NGC 330.
Yeah.
But what is that other object that's near it? So do you know who discovered this one?
I'm going to go with
guess.
Herschel.
Oh, come on, Mr. Dunlop.
Dunlop.
Mr. Dunlop.
Yeah, 1826 again. I'll tell you what, August the 1st was an important night for James Dunlop. So it's no longer the horse's birthday. It is the night that James Dunlop discovered one heck of a lot of objects in the large and small Magellanic Cloud.
Yeah. I think actually, if I'm
That's
not
where it
missing
is,
my
yeah.
guess,
So it's only about
346.
40 million years old, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it there.
so-
Definitely.
So that's 330. I think that's 346.
Yeah,
Yeah,
330
and-
is the one to the bottom left. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, look, in this frame, I just love, and this is one of the great things I think when you're looking at the SMC, and of course the larger Magellanic Cloud is, you can go to any sort of field anywhere, and it's going to pick up so much stuff. You've got that, 330 there, 346 here. There's little clusters here, some more clusters here. There's something down here. There's more over here. It's so full of, and even just this whole area. Look, there's something else over here as well. But just the whole area itself is just so full. There's some spots we get where there's I won't say only looks like half a dozen stars. There's probably 3 or 4 million just in the view, but in terms of visibility, it's a very noisy area.
It is. It absolutely is. So 436? 346.
346.
Guess who discovered 346, Lee?
Dunlop.
Dunlop. Guess when he discovered it?
The same day Herschel did.
No.
August 1st.
August 1st, 1826. Dang, he was busy that night, I tell you what. He really was. So it's an open cluster with an associated nebula.
Oops.
That's about all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's... You can see the nebula in there, can't you?
The
It almost
nebulosity
looks like a
makes
galaxy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. That sort of put me off a bit. But you've certainly got this sort of barred spiral kind of
Feel to it. But it's nothing but a nebula and a star cluster. It's not a galaxy. So you could see why they might have thought maybe when they were originally viewing it that it might have been something along those lines.
Yeah. I don't know if the stellarium sort of the image. I'm trying to think which. Actually, that sort of shows my field of view at the moment. So that's sort of what I'm seeing. No, hang on. What is it? Which way around are we?
While you're doing that, Andy's got 346 in his scope, so we'll jump across. Anne-Marie, have you imaged this one before?
Sorry, which one's that?
346, NGC 346.
Is that in the small Magellanic Cloud?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
No. I've been working on the large.
You've been working on the large. Oh,
Yeah.
We're going to have to hold you back for the large then, aren't we?
Yeah, because I'm not getting anywhere with this here.
No, that's all right. We'll work
I just
with
can't get them to connect.
No, that's understandable considering the internet issues you've had today. So, Sue, Ross is spot on. If you're setting up at home and not moving your scope, absolutely go for a dome. Just know that they're not cheap.
And you've got to move them all the time. You've got to either have it automated with your scope, or you're physically getting up and moving it every 10, 15 minutes.
Physically moving it's not a problem as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Like if you're in that, if
you're
living in a house and you're not going to move the scope, physically moving it's not a problem when you got to rotate to suit.
Yeah, but you still got to
automated. It's awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's sort of that problem where I think like you said, domes are fairly expensive. I know they're a few thousand, and then to automate it. I mean, there's those of us who I do a lot of engineering, so I could probably automate it a lot cheaper than what others could. But then to get someone else to automate it is certainly going to cost a fair bit as well. So. And I think what dome is yours, Anne-Marie? Is that?
Mine's a Skyshed pod.
Okay, so is that what?
Yes,
do you know what the field
It's
of view
not
is on
automated.
the? Do you know what the field of view is on the opening?
In some areas, I only
Degree.
get to 65 degrees.
Okay. Oh, that's a fair bit though. So your scope is fairly close to the aperture itself.
Yep.
So you're getting a fair
But,
bit of movement.
Yeah,
And
I do find
automated?
that you can actually push the lid off if there's a thing that you can have built on the side, and you can push the lid off so that you've got full right across the meridian. And I've been thinking about doing it, but then I'd have to figure out which side to put it on. But it's just, well, I mean, because I shoot all area, because I've got 360-degree views, so I really
You
don't
do.
want to.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
I'm sort of on the fence about that one yet.
Ross is
I
on the
haven't really
ball
found it a
tonight.
problem. I just move on to a different target if I hit the 65 degrees and it starts to
Move
another
from
target.
one to another.
Yeah.
Ross is on the ball tonight. Ross, thank you very much for chiming in. It's much appreciated. Ross is an ASV member. Roll-off roof is an option as well. In
That's
fact,
right.
the ASV is looking at a roll-off roof option for remote observatories at the moment at the dark sky site. So roll-off roof is definitely a more cost-effective way to go.
That's
What are you
why I'm
laughing
If
at?
you can build.
Sorry, I just it was actually not in relation to that. It's the image I've got on the screen at the moment.
On yours, this one here?
Yeah,
No, it's not this one.
yeah, because
Oh, it is.
so you've got 330 there, and then 346, and then I've slewed to something else, and it's superimposed right over the top. So
That's
I've got a question.
IC, isn't it? That's IC.
So hang on. So I've got a question for you, Mark. What's that target?
Well, it's not. Is it not 47 Tucana? Is it?
It might be.
Yep.
Looks a lot like it. So 47 Tucana, which is near the small Magellanic Cloud, has superimposed itself over the top of your image.
Yeah, but almost right on 330. So that's that would have been good. Anyway,
He's
sorry,
making
that's
it.
just a bit of astro.
You're
humor.
creating a composite image there, Lee.
I know.
So
I might have to
47
save that
Tucana
one.
was not on Anne-Marie's list, but because Anne-Marie...
There it is.
she said, yes, it is because I put it on there, Anne-Marie. It wasn't
No,
originally on her list, but I added it on there. And thank you to Anne-Marie for putting together tonight's list. That's for sure. So it's a globular cluster. It's in the constellation of Tucanae, or as I like to call it, it's 47 Tuc. It's a real ocker. 47 Tuc. It's a very Australian way to say it. I don't know why it's called 47 Tucanae. But it is.
Well, that would be. Is it an
It's
Italian?
the second brightest globular cluster in the night sky for the southern hemisphere after Omega Centauri, and I stand by the fact that it is a better globular cluster to look at than Omega Centauri.
Omega. Yeah.
It's around about 120 million light years in diameter.
And it just shows how bright it is. Like at the moment, these are 1 second subs. It's one of these objects.
1 second, and you're getting that. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's if it's unstretched. But this is where it's sort of brilliant thing where you can, because it's so bright, you can do your slewing to get it exactly in the frame. Whoops, if you go the right way. I don't quite as often do things on the western side of meridian. That's why I got my because my our place faces east. But I can line this up and I can get it sort of roughly right in the middle there. Oh, there we go, satellite. Then I'll just sync that. So see how in here you can see at the moment that the satellite, the scope thinks it's here, but there's my target. So I'll just tell it to sync. And now they're both in line. So we can
There we go.
start stacking that now.
Paul's saying that 47 Tucana is a bugger to image. I disagree. I can get it with my phone. It's not that hard.
It probably needs it probably needs a bit more perhaps a bit more of an explanation of what issues you're
It's
having
very
with it.
bright.
It is very bright. I
Very
mean,
bright.
you look at this, whereas those other targets before we were doing 30-second images. I'm doing under a second here for these, and we're still getting it. But that's what you got to try and do is take less when there's more light, and that's when you end up getting the detail in here as opposed to it blowing out. We could do something like that, and then it looks absolutely horrible. If we have our exposures too high. You can also, with a lot of these sort of images, let's get rid of that. You can do multiple different timing of stacks. It's getting the detail in the center without overexposure. Yeah. So that's where you can start. Yeah. And that's where you start looking at things like what I've done here, which is just lower images, lower subs. But if you want everything on the outside as well, as long as you've got everything, guiding, and which this isn't at the moment, but it probably won't make any difference. If you're guiding well and you can stack, you can do multiple different exposures. So you can do some longer exposures to get everything else, and then some shorter exposures, and do some masking in Photoshop, or there's several tools within things like PixInsight and other programs that will allow you to blend the different exposures. See, that's only 50 shots.
Talking about observatories, I'm Miller planning mine at the moment. I'm going for the roll-off roof. I've decided to not do the silo conversion as of time. It'll get half done. So I'm just going to do a roll-off roof with a warm room, but I'm just trying to get the best view, so because I get a really good view of the eastern horizon. So I've just got to try and work it so I can still get that. That's the only problem with it. As soon as you build observatory, you miss out on that horizon area.
That's where I think part of the design, for instance, that our lunar and planetary director Stuart Beveridge has done he's got with his little, it looks like a cubby house, to be honest.
It is. It is almost a cubby house.
Yeah, it's got an A-frame roof where those the actual roof, the roof folds out, which means his scope, which actually sits above the lowest level of the wall line, means he can get the horizon on one side of it. On the other side, he's got neighbours' trees. But it means you can get that. And I think that's sort of how I would... I don't know if you know the sort of... I'd imagine doing a roof a bit more like a bit of a toolbox, where you can actually take the roof, sort of fold it down almost. Maybe one day.
Yeah, because I've got a silo here, a spare one, and I could cut it and get the roof rotating and have to put it on bearings and wheels, and I have a flap which opens up, and then I have to build it. It's a big project, a lot of welding, and then the pier would have to go through it. It'll be, I reckon, because it's still steel, it would have to be insulated in a way that it can cool down. I'd love to do it. It's in a perfect spot, but my scope stays out most of the year, and I've just got double or triple covers on it. It's got insulated. First, I wrap it up in a couple of towels, then insulate, big cover, and then a big 4-burner barbecue cover with this pegged, and then it's got a pole. Now I've got a star dropper into the ground, which is tied to the mount, so just in case I get another tornado and flip it, which has happened before.
We've seen the result of what happens when the wind picks up in your area and smashes your telescope and your mirror and your camera.
But I'm getting a new scope. It's coming in the next couple of days. I've just bought an 8-inch. Yeah, it's a bit grainy here because I've got my hydrogen filter, so you're not getting the full. And they're not stacked. These are just single images.
So these are single images of 47 Tucano.
Yep. Just a quick.
Oh, you still got your filter on, don't you?
Yeah, I don't have.
Lee, you don't have your filter on, do you?
No, that's it's the infrared filter, which is as close to light
Normal.
as possible.
Yeah.
I tend to find this camera, the camera I've got, is really good at like so I haven't even seen Whether the Moon's sort of doing its thing at the moment, but it's pretty good at
It is.
The moon is indeed doing its thing, and I'm going to have fun later on tonight when I try and polar align manually. That'll be fun. I've done it the last few nights, so we'll give it a shot now. Then just quickly, can we hire a plot at LNDSS and set up a dome there for remote operation? Wow, not too silly a thought, but not quite there yet. There is a long-term goal that we are working on at the moment at the Dark Sky site, where we have planning approval to construct 6 roll-off observatories, which will house 2 scopes a pop. So it's about 12 remote telescope observatories. It's a long-term project. It is a work in progress. And it will happen, that's for sure. As I said, I've been testing one of the scopes. There are others that are in play to be constructed and put together up at LMDSS in the near future. But the idea is that the ASV members will have access to these remote observatories once they are set up. The general public will also likely be able to have access, but not the same access as members, obviously. You'll have paid access, whereas members will have free access. All the more reason to become a member of the society. But that is a long-term project following on from the All Abilities Astronomy project, which is very rapidly nearing completion, which is great news. So yes, there is a project underway, work in progress, that will allow us to have remote observatories on site. We have what I like to refer to as Skynet now set up at the site, Starlink for those playing along at home. So that's now set up, which means from a astrophotography remote observatory point of view, we've got the upload download that we need to make that happen. So it is happening. It will take some time, but it is absolutely happening. Paul wants to know, are we increasing the astrophotography area? Yes and no. We are to the point of the remote observatories coming online over the next few years, over the next 3, 4, 5 years. No, in that there's no real increase to the actual astrophotography area for people to set up themselves on site. Those areas like radio astronomy as well, and also like the visual observing field, are going to stay the same size at this point in time. But there is the increase, as I said, from a remote observatory point of view that is going to slowly come online over the next sort of 3, 4, 5 years. And not Elon Musk. We have to thank Elon Musk for his many, many satellites in the sky that annoy us when we take photos, for us to have the ability to take photos. So it's a little bit of an oxymoron, but it is what it is, and we work with that. Now, Lee, what have you got here?
Well, I've moved over to large Magellanic Cloud. And the first one, for some reason, it thinks I'm all the way out here.
You're not. You're very much not.
Well, and the thing is, this is where sometimes it's a problem. Is I'm reasonably certain that is 1761, which is on our list.
It is on our list, yes.
But if I go and do a plate solve, let's just see see if it sort of thinks, no, I'm nowhere near there.
It thinks you're in the right area, shall we?
So we'll see what it says. So it's basically grabbing that shot, sending it to astrometry.net or doing a local. I can't remember what I've got.
You know what? That is it. That is 1761.
Yep. In which case, it might just move a little bit, or it'll say, okay, position found, mount synced. No, it wasn't. Maybe it was.
No, that was absolutely it. I'm telling you now. That was.
I've got 1761 up. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go. This is
this
pre-imaged, Anne-Marie?
This is coming live.
This is live.
Sort of getting it working. Yeah.
Finally got it working.
This is,
all right, here we go.
Stack. It keeps dropping out on me, so you've got to be quick.
No, that's cool. We're on. Anne-Marie's working off a hotspot from her phone, so she's doing a great job. But Lee, you were on the same object.
Yeah,
this is the same thing.
I've got it back now. So
you got it back now. I bet yours is not as good as Anne-Marie's, so.
Well, at the moment it's not. It looks horrible because I've only just I've got to start again.
I'm shooting in HA, by the way.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
So what have we got? We have 6 images stacked. How long are these images, Anne-Marie?
Just 60-second ones.
60 seconds. So we have 6 minutes worth of data at the moment. And you can see in the bottom right corner a heap of extra little nebulosity that's not really related to this object. So you've got quite some significant data happening here. This is beautiful. I don't have a great deal of information on NGC. Whoa! I actually
1761.
13. What was that?
1761.
1761. Yeah, that's what I've got. I don't have much information on it at all. I can't add to the conversation on this other than just ramblings, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those objects that just doesn't have a great deal of information in it.
I think they're about all that same in the Large Magellanic Cloud, aren't
we
they?
know it's an emission nebula, and that's about it, really. Mm-hmm. Most of these don't have a lot of information. We are absolutely flying by the seat of our pants from a detailed point of view of what it is, other than what we're looking at and when it was discovered and who discovered it and how far away it is. That sort of information is not readily available for us to share with you, unfortunately. But it is quite a beautiful object. You can see the open cluster behind the nebulosity there. Well, to me, it looks like it's behind the nebulosity. Could be in front of. We'll jump across to Lee's version of it, and we'll see a difference in equipment. Well,
right as
I did, it went black.
Yeah, no, that's right. Because I had a 30-second image and then a 60-second, and it didn't stack the 60 on the 30. So
we'll jump back across to Anne-Marie's.
There's no idea.
Oh, sorry, I just stopped it. I'm going to move on to the next target. Got to keep going now. I'm on a roll.
The next one, and Lee will bring his back. We can just start to see Lee's screen there. I'm sorry, Lee, but Anne-Marie's version is better than yours.
That's only one.
But it's still saying it's better.
You keep going with yours. You're doing well.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Doing better than me tonight.
I tell you what, there are gremlins left, right, and centre tonight. That's for sure.
I've had gremlins all day. Just stupid NBN.
The NBN. Oh, we have a question here. How do you tell the difference between an emission nebula and a reflection nebula, guys?
Oh, this is where the perfect example that is the Trifid Nebula.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So we know that an emission nebula is clouds of ionized gas.
Yep, and the reflection nebula
clouds
is
of dust.
Which there you go. You just answered it.
That is the most simplistic response to that question we could get, isn't it?
Yeah.
Emission is clouds of gas, and reflection is clouds of dust.
Yeah, and it's the dust is reflecting the color of the star that's usually what's known as the progenitor star, which is the star that's at the center of that nebula. And I just said that only because Stefan Nebel loves the use of the word progenitor.
He does, and he's not here to defend himself.
And I'm fairly sure, like I do recall, and I might as well, I'll stick the boot in a little bit. Steve Thurm, our other guru and expert, we had one stream where I'm sure Stefan had said it 2 or 3 times, and then Steve went to say it, and I think just somehow stumbled over the word at the time, and he's gone the star in the middle.
The star in the middle. I love
the
it.
star in the middle. Yep.
So, well, we have another question, and I can actually answer this one. Does the Magellanic Cloud do the Magellanic Clouds have supermassive black holes? No, they don't. They don't have supermassive black holes within them. Will they collide with the Milky Way? Yes, they will. Long after we're all gone, that's for sure. They're going to collide with us in a very, very, very long time from now. Lee, have you got anything to add to that?
Not necessarily, no. I suppose, no, yeah. No, I was just trying to think of whether there was something I was reading or watching the other day. Someone had noted that they thought it was the Large Magellanic that had already potentially collided with the Milky Way. I can't remember what it was, but and it might be like a second go at it that will occur.
I think it is the large and small, and the second go is around about anywhere between 1 to 4 billion years from now.
Okay, so we're well, we can't use that. We can't use the joke anymore. See, a couple of weeks ago, we could have said, so by the time we get out of lockdown, but
no, we're out of lockdown, so we can't use that joke anymore.
We're done.
We can use it next winter when we go back into lockdown. Adam has just tuned in and wants to know. So he's just turned in. You did clarify that as tuned in, but I'll embarrass him. He's just turned in and wants to know what target we're looking at here. Sorry, Adam, I had to take the piss.
He might be a student, and he's just turned in. He's turned in his work.
Could have turned in paper in, yes.
Yeah, there's a portal they're supposed to use, which is called Turn It In, that does copyright checking. So we'll take it for.
He gave us a laughy face, so he got the joke. What are we looking at again?
He probably is a student then.
Definitely is a student.
Yeah, so this is still NGC 1761,
which is part of the Large Magellanic
Cloud. It's something actually like. It's one of these funny things where we don't know that much information about it from what we can tell, but it's funny when you look at things like in hang on, let me just sync that in programs like Stellarium, which is where I've chosen the target so that I can slew to it. You can see it looks very similar there. It just says stellar association. I still don't know exactly what they classify as stellar association versus other things, because on what's this thing here on a French website at the moment, it just says NGC 1761 Association of Stars. It's like it's almost a bit of Durfred, as we used to say in the 80s.
All right, so James is back again, and unfortunately, we didn't answer James' question. And James, I am absolutely going to say this is above my pay grade, mate. I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer to the difference.
I would expect it's the wavelengths. I don't know that for sure, because.
Can we clarify that we are also, like James, amateur astronomers as well? That this is an absolute and utter volunteer job. And we only know so much. That's for sure. We don't have any of our experts with us tonight, so we're doing the best we can, James. So apologies if that wasn't the answer you were looking for.
Yeah, we
I absolutely cannot answer that question. I don't know if Anne-Marie or Andy or Lee, if you can answer that question. No, Lee's
said,
probably most likely to be able to answer it.
The only reason I can think is because in seeing where the light is and the color, what's there, they can also when they're analyzing the frequency of the waves that are emitted or reflected, is whether or not you're seeing the dust lanes. So seeing the dust, which effectively is carbon, typically, or other elements, and therefore, the frequency that's received, whether it's the same light or not, there's other elements there that are seen. And if you're not going to get that in, you're just not going to get the same in a reflection as a emission at the same time.
And James knows even less. He's just said that. So there we go, James. We're all on the same page, mate. We're absolutely on the same page. Now, Anne-Marie has got
happy to look it up
for us NGC 2018. So this is in the large Magellanic Cloud, Anne-Marie?
Yep.
Okay, so NGC 2018 is a supernova remnant, which is associated with the star cluster in the large Magellanic Cloud in the constellation of Mensa. And that is about all I can tell you about that object.
Is it in Mensa?
Constellation Mensa.
Is the large Magellanic Cloud over several constellations?
Yes, it is. Yes.
That's interesting.
Crosses over, I believe, 2 or 3 constellations. And yes, we are all learning tonight. Absolutely. Anne-Marie just learned then.
I did.
There we go. Yeah. I knew something that Anne-Marie didn't know.
There's a lot about astronomy that you know that I don't.
Well, I'm sure there's not.
I think with astronomy, just like with anything else, some of the things you tend to pick up on the fly, and depending on what, in some cases, it's what interests you more as to what you'll hold on to, and be able to regurgitate. For instance, there's a lot of normal stuff, or things we to a degree take for granted, but there's other stuff that sort of might wet someone's whistle and not someone else's. It's just it's like when we again go, just referencing Stefan Nebel again, he loves his Wolf Rayet stars.
You're just dumping on Stefan tonight.
No, I'm just saying, like, he absolutely loves his Wolf Rayet stars.
He does, and I don't
goes
blame
crazy
him, because
for
they're
them.
awesome objects.
And Claire Kenyon loves her Bok globules. So we've all got these little bits and pieces that absolutely, like, I just love hydrogen
I'll
alpha.
tell Claire tomorrow that you've said that she loves her block.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's just, I know she's mentioned it several times. So yeah. But it's like we've all got different bits and pieces. We'll know about certain things and learn certain things. Sometimes you need to know one thing to know about something else, but there'll be certain bits that we just fascinate us more than anything else.
And you're right. Nobody can get mares right.
Mare,
It's
etc.
impossible to say mare. Everyone must say mare. It's the way it works. There you go. The president formerly known as Steve Paddy, our former president, Doradus and Mensa. And I was just about to say that, Steve. It straddles the 2 constellations, because you know what? Because I didn't really know it, I Googled it. And that's what we do. But Steve, you're spot on. Doradus and Mensa crosses over the 2 of them. So. Now, I think, are we going to jump across to the next object, or
can I have my screen?
No, you can't. No. Yes, you can have your screen back. I'll put all four of us on the screen again. Nobody wants to see that, but they'll have to while we wait for the next lot of objects. Poor old Andy. I'm not sure what Andy's up to at the moment. Andy,
I've been a bit
got
quiet.
It's crashing.
or
Oh, it's really crashing. It's my camera's crashed it 3 times,
camera's
and I'm
crashed.
just rebooting it. And now it's asking for the serial number and everything. It's doing weird, crazy stuff.
did
But,
you tell them it doesn't have a serial number? Or
well,
switch
no,
it
the
off?
program
Switch it all
I'm
off
using,
and turn
that's
it all back on again.
That's what I'm doing, and it should be.
That's
serial
the
number
way to
in.
go, isn't it? So we've got a few objects left, but I'm reliant on the guys to be able to bring them to you. So we have to do the old twiddle our thumbs for a little bit while we wait for the next series of objects to come online.
I'm just plate solving.
Yeah, I just apparently I've got 1968.
1968, 10 years
Yeah.
before I was born.
That's
I'm
what
just
I'm
waiting
just
for the.
plate solving on.
Yeah, I had. It's not that much unless there's some nebulosity with it as well. In which case, I'll switch to
Yeah, there's a bit
HA.
there.
Okay.
There's a fair bit there. Mm.
So I've just gone.
So it's an open cluster by the looks of it as well.
Oh well, if maybe if Anne Marie's on HA, I'll just stick with the IR filter.
Show the difference between the IR and the HA. That'd be good, actually.
Yeah. Which and I mean you can see just like how much shows up with this with the IR. We get a lot more of these stars, whereas Anne Marie will get a lot of these sort of hidden or washed out. Hope one would imagine. In fact, you can see some nebulosity there.
Just a little bit there, yeah.
And a bit here.
Can I just quickly say, while we're waiting for yours to sort of settle down and Anne Marie's to start up, that I'm going to put the former president on the spot there and just let everybody know, those members who are watching and the general public who are watching, if you come along to our Christmas barbecue on the 11th of December, as I said, there are general public tickets available. Links are on the Facebook page. Links are on the front page of the website for the general public, for the members. Your links are in the closed forums and in your Crux extras. Steve Paddy is actually going to be doing Sky for the Night, or Tour of the Night Sky, at the Star Party, which will be pretty cool. Something different, something new. You'll have to put up with myself and Claire as hosts of the quiz and the raffle. Apologies for that in advance. We've got kids' activities throughout the day. Radio Astronomy have got their gear going. You can come up and see our 8.5 metre dish. It does have cricket stumps on it because it's not a dish unless it's got cricket stumps on it. We will be rolling out the 40-inch telescope and the 25-inch telescope as well. Russell, our solar section director, will have his solar scope out as well during the day. We've got some local Heathcote wineries coming up. We've got the Lions Club coming up as well to the start party. So if you haven't got a ticket yet, grab one now. Members tickets, $7 for adults. Kids are free. General public, $15 for adults, and I think it's from memory. I should know because I set the stuff. $5 for kids. Grab your tickets before they're gone. Really, it'll be fun. It really will be fun. A lot of activities, a lot of people. If you're not a member, it's a great way to see what we do. If you are a member and you've never been to the Dark Sky site, it's a great way to see what we do. And for those members who are with us tonight, we have the Deep Sky section this Saturday night and club section at the lodge on Friday night.
I've got that one up, Mark.
You've got it up. So can I just, all right, so I can see what the others watching can't see. I can see the star cluster and a little bit of nebulosity in Lee's image.
A bit there, a bit
and
there.
Then when we jump to Anne Marie's, it's going to look very different.
Yeah.
There's a lot more nebulosity going on there. And you can see that main curve on the left-hand side, sort of the reverse C on the left-hand side of the image there is probably when I jumped back to Lee's is that same one that sort of looks like it's pointing to the top of the screen.
Yeah, probably slightly different orientation.
Different orientation.
Mine's 90 degrees around, probably because I was doing
but it's also you've got a lot more stars in your view.
Yeah.
Which is the open cluster, and Anne-Marie's got a lot more nebulosity in the view.
Mm.
And then even then, you look to the very right-hand side at about 1 or 2 o'clock of Anne-Marie's, and you can see a whole lot of nebulosity of another object right up the top.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's not that same.
I think we're going on to that one next.
You go. We're jumping over to that one next. There we go.
Yeah.
I think it's that one.
And that's where it sort of shows that it's sort of typical that what we'll do is when we're imaging, we'll take HA shots, but we'll also take red, green, blue, and luminance filters so that we can get a distinct difference between any narrowband sort of colors, being hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and then mix them with the stars if we want them. If you want a huge amount of stars in there, and
I can move on to the next one if you want to take my screen back.
You want your screen back? All right, you can have your screen back. We'll jump across to.
We've got to jump through quick now.
Andy, what have you got going there at the moment, mate?
1968. That was only a quick.
Oh, you're still back on 1968. You're still living in the past. The rest
haven't even made it to the moon yet.
We're in 2070.
Oh yeah, 68. It was a good year. I was 2 years old. I remember it quite well. Not really, but
you remember that when you were 2 years old, do you?
Oh yeah. No, actually, I remember the moon landing. Just.
Oh well.
How old were you when the moon landing was happening?
3 3/4.
Hang on a second.
But it might have been, Apollo 12.
Hang on. Let's go back and do that maths. So this is 19 what?
68.
I was born 66.
All right,
and
so the moon landing was 69. So that puts you 3 years. Yeah, so 3 3/4 years.
Yeah, 3 and 6 months actually. And I remember it, but it could have been Apollo 12. I just remember being dragged in the lounge room in front of a black and white TV, and my dad just saying all this stuff, and I remember that clearly. But it could have been Apollo 12, but I've got visions of the moon landing, one of them anyway. But I've also got
Apollo 11, could have been Apollo 12. It's all right. We're making Ian feel old. Ian, I'll make you feel even older. And that was nearly a decade before I was born, Ian. So
yeah, and also, but something I remember at the same time they were talking about guerrilla warfare, and it was Vietnam. And I just had this picture of
we're getting off topic now, Andy.
At the same time, it was you've got these like vivid images of I've still got all the magazines and all the newspaper cuttings which Dad had taken from the newspaper at that time, and all the old Time magazine, Life magazines and stuff, and all the clippings. And he had that. We had a Apollo Eagle lander cardboard 3D model, which was really cool, which we've lost now, but it's somewhere.
The collectibles.
Cool.
Yeah, it would be.
Right. I'm going to jump across to Lee now so we can get back onto what we were doing.
Yep, sorry.
That's all right.
I just started doing that in HA, just while I was waiting. But I'm going to now go to the next target,
which
again is 2014. Let's see what, so I can see something there. I'm just got to get rid of that. Oops, screen just a bit slow updating. I think I can hear a kitty.
Oh, been meowing all night. Wants to be fed.
Give him some
She's probably saying, "What are you doing?
gosh.
They're saying, "What are you doing in the kennel? Feed
Well,
us."
this is his bedroom, actually.
Oh, there we go.
This
Andrea
cat
saying
sleeps
some
out
of
here.
us watched the lunar landing on black and white TV in our primary school teacher's house. While Andrea, you're older than I am. I'll say that much because I wasn't even thought of. It's about 9 years before my time, that one. So what are we looking at here, Lee?
NGC 2014. I'm just plate solving to see whether it's this one, or this one. Or it could be this down here. There's something down the bottom here which looks like it's got
this
a bit
one,
of...
or it could be that one. Well, it's
Yeah.
an emission nebula. I know that much. And it's
Oh,
around about
1984.
1,000 light years away. And I'm going to give you one guess as to who discovered it.
Herschel Dunlop.
Herschel Dunlop. You can have half a point. James Dunlop. All right. You can have a guess on when he discovered it.
August 1st,
August
18... Something.
26.
That'll do.
Yeah. No, wrong. August the 3rd, 1826.
Third.
Oh.
He's busy.
Got ya.
Is that when he wrote it down, though? He might have.
Yeah.
It took him
I-
just to write it down.
You know what? Google and Wikipedia never lie. Ever.
Until they get corrected.
Never, ever lie. Now, while we're waiting for these ones to appear a little bit better on the screen, you said of the star trails.
Yep.
I just want to say that we do still have the Starbecue raffle, which thanks to Skynet, as I like to call it. So we have Skynet at the Dark Sky site now. We're waiting for it to take over the world. We will be able to live stream the raffle that we will draw for the Starbecue raffle on December 11th. Tickets are still available. It is one heck of a prize. It is an Ioptron CEM 26B equatorial center balanced mount with a stainless steel tripod. A Skywatcher Evo Star 72 ED scope with a Skywatcher 0.85 focal reducer, a 12-volt DC switch mode power supply with a cigarette lighter socket, because nobody smokes these days, but we still have cigarette lighters in our cars.
Mm-hmm.
A sidereal trading M48T mount for either a Canon EOS or a Nikon AI. The raffle value is $3,124. The prize includes delivery. Courier delivery, not Australia Post, because we know how slow they are at the moment. All funds raised for this raffle will go to the All Abilities Astronomy Project and finalising the construction of the roll-off observatory with the Naismith telescope, which will be a wheelchair-accessible telescope. It is open to Australian residents only and will be drawn at 7 p.m. On 11th of December at the Starbecue. And you've got to be in it to win it. And it's a heck of a prize. I tell you what, and I need to thank Sidereal Trading for putting that prize up for us. It's essentially an astrophotography beginner's setup, really, when you think about it. It's got everything you need except for the camera. So $5 a ticket, and you've got a chance to be in it to win it.
Mm.
Now, this is NGC 1984.
NGC, lots of nebulosity.
Whose is that? I can't
Yours.
see what you're looking at.
Yours.
Oh,
It's
mine.
yours.
Yours.
Metric fire truck.
I
Tunnel.
can't
That
see
was
what
a-
you're looking at.
I was going to say that was a bit coy. I reckon she knew.
You know what would make this
Yeah.
this one brilliant? Can we rename it to 1927? And then we can
Why?
call it Ish.
Ish.
I'm showing my age then.
1927-ish.
So NGC 1927. It's another one of those lovely emission nebula setups. And other than that, I don't really have a great deal of information.
I think with this one, Mark, I think I sent it on 1984, so it would be the stars in the middle.
Sorry,
I reckon.
NGC 1984. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
absolutely losing myself with my lovely lame joke of 1927. That was pretty bad of me. So it's a mission nebula. It's got an open cluster in it.
Yeah, I think that's the open cluster.
Lee, Lee, I'm going to ask you, who discovered NGC 1984, not 1927?
Orson Welles.
Sorry?
Orson Welles.
Good
Carver,
book,
Carver?
but wrong answer. That was
Patrick
actually
Moore?
John Herschel on the 16th of December in 1835.
What about Patrick Moore? Didn't he find any of these?
No,
Patrick,
unfortunately not.
Patrick, well, he did some sea objects around here, didn't he? Because Coolwell, that's some of his stuff. Patrick Moore. Patrick, because he couldn't do M objects, so he did a C objects instead. Which is true. That's a true story. Patrick
I
Moore.
get that it's a true story, but he's not a very bright man. All right,
His middle
I
name's Coolwell.
couple of questions I need to answer. Andrea, will we be posting the raffle details and how to pay? So the raffle details are on our Facebook page. You will see it's beginning to look a lot like a Christmas raffle post on our Facebook page. It's also on our website, asv.org.au. You'll see it there. It's through Flock2, so you literally go in there, choose the tickets you want. Unfortunately, there is no PayPal. They are working on it. But at the moment, it is credit card details needed to buy tickets. We do apologise for that, but that's just the way that they do what they do. Grab your tickets, $5 a pop, basically $5 a ticket for your chance to win a $3,200, roughly $3,200 prize. And I guess the benefit is that if you don't win, you know that whatever raffle tickets you've bought go to a very, very, very good cause that allows us to bring astronomy to everybody. Those with mobility issues, those who have physical... Oh, it's us again. Those who have... those who have...
Don't scare me like that.
physical disabilities, whether they're in a wheelchair or have mobility issues, those with sight issues. Buying a ticket to our raffle goes towards constructing and finalising construction of those pathways and the All Abilities Roll-Off Observatory, which has a warm room in it. And that warm room, the idea of that warm room is that if you're in a wheelchair, you're going to get cold a lot quicker than those of us who have no mobility issues, I guess. So you're going to get cold quickly, and having the warm room allows those who are in wheelchairs or those with mobility issues to sit in a room that's going to keep them warm. And in the middle of winter in Heathcote, it gets really, really cold, to the point that if you're up there in the middle of June or July, even August and September, you can get snow almost, like frost, to the point that you can build snowmen out of frost. So it gets very, very cold. We're talking -3, -4 degrees.
This morning, when I went to bed at 3 a.m. up there, it was, it was 2 degrees.
2 degrees, and we're talking late November, and it's 2 degrees at that dark sky site.
And that was where it was crystal clear, beautiful setting, beautiful. There was just no clouds to keep any warmth in, and it had actually been warm during the day.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. You can have a stinking hot day at LMDSS, and at night it is freezing cold. So the idea of this observatory and the pathways is to have appropriately graded pathways around the site so that wheelchairs can get around the site without there being an issue with the pathways being too steep or not steep enough. And also so that people who are using walking canes or walking sticks, or people who have vision impairment, can get around the site safely and get to the areas of the site that they want to get to. And one of those areas is the roll-off observatory for the Naismith telescope, which is the All Abilities telescope which literally means that you can sit in a chair at the telescope and you don't have to climb a ladder, and you can see what the other people who are looking through telescopes where they have to climb ladders are looking at. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring astronomy to the people, and that's what this raffle is all about. It's all about buying a ticket to get those of you who don't have the money to buy $10,000 worth of astrophotography equipment. You've got a chance to win an astrophotography setup that most astrophotographers would love to have for $5 or $10 or $20 or $30 or $100. And then that money that we raise goes towards those who can't physically climb a ladder to look through a telescope in the middle of a field full of dirt, a chance to see through a telescope. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's what the raffle is all about. And it is on our website, asv.org.au, and it's on our Facebook page as well. So there you go. That answers your question. Hopefully it answers your question, Andrea. Derek, we try to be entertaining and we try to be enjoyable, and I'm glad you think that that's the case. We do whatever we can do to try and keep ourselves as human as we can be and as us as we can be. We have technical glitches, we have technical issues, and we work through those as best we can. We don't know the answers to everything, that's for sure. We don't pretend to know the answers to everything. We just want to share what's in the night sky with the viewers who are watching us. Now, this image you've got is NGC 1763. This comes from Andy's telescope, and NG63 is once again another one of those emission nebulas. It is embedded with a star cluster in the constellation of Dorado. And Lee, I'm going back to you again. I want you to guess who discovered it.
See, if I think that because the last one was that one, it'll be the other one. So, so I went with him. So it's got to be Herschel.
Matthew Flinders?
Who? Matthew Flinders? Did you say?
Matthew Flinders.
He discovered where your place is, Andy.
Exactly.
That is Flinders Ranges out that way, isn't it? Herschel, August 3rd and a half. 1823.
It was James Dunlop in 1826. Herschel was like late to the party again in 1834. All right, so since you've like had no luck at all working out who discovered it and when, what size telescope do you think he used?
It would have been. Well, where did he discover it?
1826, remember?
18-inch.
Close, but no cigar.
22.
What's that in centimeters? Hang on, wait. What is that in centimeters?
Is 45.
No.
45, 46.
A 23 centimeter telescope.
Oh, that's tiny.
But
That's only 10-inch.
But where was Herschel born?
No. This is James Dunlop.
Dunlop.
He did this from Parramatta. Doesn't matter, Parramatta.
It's a 9-inch. It's a 9-inch, so close to the equivalent of a 9.25 inch, 9.25 inch.
They didn't have metric back then. There wasn't metric back then, was it?
No.
So
it was definitely a 9-inch, wasn't it? 43.
That's right. Yeah.
Can I just say thank you to Ian for purchasing 4 tickets, and I know you did because the email came through. And yes, make more memories. He's just purchased more tickets, so you better get some more tickets. Like pressure is on. If you don't have, you've got to be in it to win it. Isn't that what they say?
It is.
No pressure at all. All right, so we're going to jump across now to Lee. Lee's got NGC 2014, 2020, and 2030. And I noticed you missed 2021 because nobody wants to deal with 2021.
No, that's right. Yeah. Well, 2020 shouldn't even have its a thing
2020 we kind of we dealt with. We didn't expect
So-
2021 though.
So 2014 is this one here, and I did center on it initially, but as soon as I saw just off the bottom of the screen was this, so I've just sort of scrolled down a bit further and decided to get that, and there's even more down below. So I reckon this would actually look brilliant. As a at some time I might image this one.
Hey Lee, guess what?
This is the one that I've just recently done.
What is contained within NGC 2020?
What was that? Sorry.
Guess what's contained within NGC 2020?
Star cluster.
Yeah, but no. Something more important. Something that our main man Stefan Neville would love.
Wolf Rayet.
Wolf Rayet. Bat 99-59.
There you go.
Is contained within this image.
Yeah. Anne-Marie was just saying she's recently imaged this one.
She did. Is this the one that you didn't know what it was, or is this the other one that you knew?
No, this is the one. I actually did it go 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So I've got it.
You got it on yours now, Anne-Marie?
That way.
No.
What?
Not the completed one. No, but that one there, I actually had it so that it was like a V. It was shaped like a V on my photo.
Oh, yeah.
And I did
I get the V. Yep.
I did it in HOO. It's on the website, on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
I did it at HOO, and I also did it in SHO.
I'm going to go and find
I think I posted them both.
Yeah, I might. Like that. The fact that showed up, I did my initial slew to it in IR, and that was very prominent. I can see look how bright it is there. So, and this is showing up nice because this is all HA. So, I might revisit this one, for sure, because it fits my field of view just perfectly too.
Yep.
I'm just scouring the Astrophotographers.
I've got 2081 up.
I'm trying to find your one of this one.
Oh.
Do you have this one available?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, she says with convincing nothingness.
What was the other one you? Oh, you've already gone to something else.
Yeah, she says. I've got that's a really convincing answer. Not.
I've just got to find it. It's here somewhere. What's it called? NGC.
What's it called? She says is she's taken the image of it. Like
you're talking about the completed one.
Yeah,
2014
of Lee's at the moment.
2014 or 20 and 2030. Because when I compared them before, I'm fairly sure.
Maybe I haven't.
So in fact, this is sort of I slewed to 2014. As I said, that was in the middle, which is this one here, and then so I'm kind of centered on 2021. Sorry, and then I can't quite read those ones. It's 20. There's actually several there. 2029, 2032, 2035, 2040, all just within this right here. But look at this. I love this little thing. Oh, hang on. What happened there?
What did you do?
Oh, I already had 10 minutes worth. So it's
This is
forgot.
One of them's up on Astrobin because that's the only place I can find it.
Here we go. Let's blow our minds. Here's a processed version of it. So how many hours did you spend on this, Anne-Marie?
Scoot down here. That's 8 hours and 20 minutes.
8 hours. So 8 hours worth of data.
Hydrogen, alpha, oxygen, and sulfur.
So you've absolutely stunning when you look at it.
Yeah.
So you've listed that as 2014, but the
Yeah.
2014 is the orange bit to the left, and the other lot is
I
several
think you'll
other
find
bits,
up the
which is
top. You see up the top here, it's got all the designations up the top
yeah,
here as well.
yeah, because it's
That's
20.
where the plate solves. See, that's what's in there
Yeah,
when
that's
you
it.
hover over and plate solve it. Yeah. There's a lot
Do
in
you
there.
reckon they just made up half those numbers just because they could?
Probably.
Like when you look at it, can you
I
like you got, just don't move that for a second. You got NGC 2020, which is that blue one on the left hand side. 2014, which is the sort of the orangey burnt ochre color. Then you got 2011 just below that, which almost feels like it's part of 2014. And you got 2021 sort of almost lower center, which feels like, again, it's part of 2014. Like, if you looked into these and you saw the distance that they are, surely some of these objects are essentially, yeah.
It just
You know what?
And
I agree with this
look at the
comment.
ones that don't have
It
a name.
is exactly like watching a lotto draw. Like, how many of these objects are actually already intertwined and engaged with each other?
and I think that the more merit is given to that. I think by the fact that when we subsequently 100, 200 years later after their discoveries, end up sort of we go to Wiki, we go to wherever, and there's no information on them. So it's like they've been discovered and noted and classified, but there's no information. So do they really exist as something separate or not? Some of the ways that some objects are classified is just a bit, a bit weird.
Now, we have a new guest with us. Jenny from the block has joined us. Hello, Jenny. How you going?
Hi.
Now,
Hey.
you met. I saw in our lovely little chat that you had. Was it something imaged? Can you share that with us?
Hi, everyone.
Well,
Everyone,
Jen.
say hello to Jenny from the block.
hello, Jen.
Jen.
Jen's joining us from lovely, cozy Swan Hill in her warm room, in her own little telescope roll-off observatory. And Jen, can I say thank you for buying 5 tickets to the raffle? Much appreciated. I know you bought tickets because it just came through, so. So if you've got, here we go. All right, we're looking at Jen's screen at the moment. Here we go. We've gone off tangent. We are going to Dorado. So this is the Tarantula Nebula, which wasn't on Anne-Marie's list until I put it on Anne-Marie's list. Anne-Marie, shame on you.
Well, everybody's been doing tarantula, so I didn't put it on here.
But the general, like all the astrophotographers have been doing tarantula. Everybody loves to see tarantula. So, Lee, I'm asking you again because I'm enjoying picking on you at the moment. Who discovered Tarantula Nebula, or who first observed it?
That bloke.
Who first observed it?
Yeah. I'll give you one hint. It wasn't Edward James Weary Dunlop.
Okay, it was it was Nicholas Louis de la Salle.
Did you Google that or what?
Not a chance.
Surely you did.
And it was during the expedition of the Cape of Good Hope between 1751 and 1753.
What boat were
You
they on?
can't do that. You can't Google that. I know you Googled that. Oh. For those playing along at home, Lee absolutely Googled that answer because he's looking at the same page I am. Tarantula Nebula, otherwise known as 30 Doradus, which we don't need to Google to know that. We actually know that. It's in the large Magellanic Cloud. was discovered by Nicolas Louis de La Salle during his expedition to the Cape of Good Hope, somewhere between 1751 and 1753. Yes, I needed to Google that, and I'm happy to say that. He catalogued it as a second of the nebula of first class. I'm not sure what that means, other than it seems to be a nebulosity not accompanied by any visible stars in the telescope. But when I look at it through my 8-inch through light-polluted Melburnian skies, I see stars. So
I think that was from Jen. Yeah, I just
sorry, no, that was from Andy actually. No, that's from you, Lee. Oh, look at that. That's from Lee. Lee's reverberating.
I think that was from Jen. Yeah, I just.
Wow, something's going on.
I'm muted.
Hold on a second. We're just trying to deal with that. Not sure what's going on there, but we're back. All right, there we go. I think we're okay now.
Yep.
Where were we? We were talking about Tarantula Nebula.
Boris the Spider.
What was that, Andy?
Boris the Spider.
Boris the Spider.
Boris the Spider.
Morris?
Boris.
Boris.
It's an old Who
As
song.
in-
Yes. By
I'm lost. All I know is it looks like a spider dead on its back with its legs curled in. And I know it's a horrific explanation. And I've been told off by Claire for describing it in that manner in our podcast. But to me, that's how I see it. The spider on its back, dead with its legs curled in.
just like the ones at my feet.
Not the ones at your feet. All right. So its distance is around about 160,000 light years. It is a luminous, extremely luminous, non-stellar object. So great that if it was as close to Earth as Orion Nebula is, it would cast visible shadows on the Earth.
Wow.
So it's quite. It's one heck of an object, really, when you think about it. One heck of an object. So Lee's got it as well. We'll jump across to Lee's version. And you can see that. So you can see the difference in equipment here as well from what Lee's using to, once again, jump across to Anne-Marie's. So Anne-Marie's is a wider field view. Lee's is a lot closer up.
No, that was Jen's. That was Jen's, not
Yeah,
Anne-Marie's.
yours is closer. Sorry, Anne-Marie. Jen's is a wider field view.
Yes.
Lee's is a lot closer up. So it's quite a stunning object. It is one object that is definitely visible from suburban light polluted Melbourne skies, and I know that because I can see it through an 8-inch mead from Bayside, Melbourne. It's definitely visible. It's one to look at. It's a beautiful object. From a dark sky sight, it is absolutely stunning. You put a HA filter on it when you're visually observing it, and it has a 3D depth to it. It almost feels like it is there with you. Andy's got a processed image version of it right now. Andy, what was the data that you took with that?
That was I think it was about 3 hours. 3 hours. I think I've done a bit of an HA mix with that one. So I'm pretty bad in. I've just called this Tarantula version 3. I should put the whole details on everything because I'd have to look at my Instagram page and see what I've written about it. But I think it was about 3 hours.
You better run across the Instagram page then.
Because okay. I'll tell you exactly what it was. Here we go. But yeah, that was taken.
While you're doing that, I'll jump across to Anne-Marie's again. So Anne-Marie, what have we got? We got 53
Jen,
images.
not Anne-Marie.
Sorry, Jenny from the block. We have 53 images 19 frames ignored. What is the exposure length you're going for? How long is the exposure in your image, Jen? It's not a laughable
30
question.
seconds.
30 seconds. All right, there we go. So we have around about, I'm trying to do my maths in my head here, 54 stacked frames
54.
gives us around about, 55 now, gives us around about 26 and a half minutes.
Or 29 minutes and 53 seconds.
No, that's not right because it's ignored some frames, Lee.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
the total exposure is 29 and 53. That's the stacked time.
I understand that, but 55 times 0.30 is not 29.
No, but you do 50. Oh, you do 55. No. What are you talking about?
56 frames at 30 seconds is not 30 minutes.
No, what it means is Jen's actually had one. She's had one exposure time and then added a different exposure time to it during the.
Well, she must have because my maths says that 56 times 30 seconds is not 30 minutes.
28. So there would have been at least a minute in there somewhere.
There you go.
Maybe.
Anne-Marie, Jen, you've been playing tricks on Lee. You confused
On me?
him. You thought it was 30 minutes of exposure, and it's not.
Well, but it is. The total is.
Either way, it's a stunning image for a live stack. So this is live from Swan Hill. Now,
have
Jen,
you done anything with the histogram there?
What's your telescope you're using, Jen, to bring us this live image of Tarantula Nebula?
No, I haven't touched it. I haven't used this program very often.
No, but what's the telescope equipment? What equipment are you using?
It's a Skywatcher ED180 refractor, ED120 refractor.
What camera are you using?
I think there's a delay in the audio back and forth.
I think there is a delay. Yeah. What camera are you using, Jen?
ASI 1600.
Yeah, ASI 1600. So, Lee, what does that compare to what you're using?
The 1600. They're actually quite similar, but the 2600 I think is a slightly bigger sensor, and it's comparatively one of the biggest things with the 2600 is you don't necessarily need to take dark frames for calibration. It's extremely good at zero light pollution within itself on the sensor. Other than that, they're actually quite similar. I don't have the stats in front of me at the moment.
It's okay. Can I just quickly say a big thank you to Alan Cooper for purchasing 10 raffle tickets just then. That was much appreciated, that's for sure. It's just
now I found that image. It's
you found it?
Yep. Now I've got it up. It was 66.
All right, we'll go back to this one. Here we go.
So it's 132 minutes. Is that right? 66. Yeah, 66. 12. Yeah. So 132 minutes of the Tarantula Nebula and a few surrounds, and got some. It's really bright area, but that one actually hasn't got HA in it. That was just a straight RGB modded camera.
Nice.
Felt like the fancy stuff Lee and Anne-Marie and Jen use.
No, just an old backyard EOS. That's what I'm using. Backyard program. I'm in my backyard doing backyard astro.
Now, guys, have you got anything else you'd like to share with the viewers before we close the stream out? Are there any objects in that area you'd like to quickly jump across to?
Well, I've got
I'll give you
What are we doing
each an
now?
opportunity. Anne-Marie's got something in the stream. What are we looking at, Anne-Marie, while the others jump across to another object?
Oh,
She's on mute. You have to unmute yourself,
Oh.
Anne-Marie.
Hang on. I have to change screens to do that. It is
Oh,
unmuted.
Well, you were. Yeah, there you go. I unmuted you.
NGC 2081.
2081. I know nothing about this one. So, guys,
think it's
go
a
and hunt
pig.
yourself. Go and hunt
It's a pig
yourself
up the
another
top.
object to finish off on. And I'll just Google NGC 2081 and pretend I know what I'm talking about.
It's actually this 2081's the central bit.
I've got nothing on it other than that it is a cluster of stars.
That's the cluster
Wow.
in the middle there.
That's
with
the
a
cluster.
lot, with a
There's
lot
more
of
nebulosity
nebulosity.
than there is cluster of stars.
Well, I mean, if Emery is doing it in HA, that's mostly what you're going to see. If you changes to non-HA, probably see a lot more stars as well, just indicative of the area.
It's pretty cool though. Like this is
It's right near Tarantula, I think.
So it's
I
just
think
off to
this
the
is part of
side.
Tarantula down here.
Yeah. So it's just off to the side of Tarantula.
Hmm.
All right. So Andy, Lee, Jen, if there's another object in the Magellanic Clouds you guys are keen to share. Lee, that is
No.
not the Magellanic Cloud.
So you didn't tack on the end Magellanic, you know.
Lee's gone.
That's what the stream's all about.
Oh, okay.
Jumping. So Lee, sorry, Andy, what are we looking at here right now?
We're looking at 1722 at the moment, and 1727.
Right, so
and
while we got you
1723.
guys, what makes the best HA filter for a one-shot color camera?
Well, I've got an astronomic. Oh no, one shot. Sorry, that won't work.
I've got a cheap one.
Yeah.
I got a cheap one.
I don't even know what mine are. I don't think they're branded. Oh, mine are just
Dylan Hanks.
ZWO. Mine are just ZWO.
So did you have NGC 1782 there? Was it Andy?
1722.
1722. Wow.
Yeah, it's the last one on the list, and it's got a few things in there. It's got icy.
Got a lot happening in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll look at. This is in RGB straight, and that's a hydrogen filter.
Would you
Red.
believe that this is meant to be an open cluster?
Right. Okay.
I'd say there's more nebulosity there than there is open cluster going on there.
So do I.
What did you call that one?
Well-
1722.
Because isn't 1910 the last one on the list? Because I've got that up too.
Yeah, there's one
I was
more
gonna say,
after,
doesn't
on
look
my
like
list.
The
My
list is what we want it to be.
Yeah, right.
So, no, Emery, go back to
Oh,
that.
sorry,
What was
you're
it?
on
What
mine.
was it?
There you go. I didn't realise you were on mine.
Everyone's
This is
going to see.
1910.
Everyone's going to see Lee helping Jen make her tarantula nebula pop now.
Oh, hang on. I wasn't looking at that.
I'm actually getting Jen. Can you leave your tarantula nebula up because that actually did help? I could see it from here.
Yeah, we were just going through a couple
So-
of
This is another one of those nebulas that kind of looks a little bit like a galaxy, but in reverse.
You on
Yeah.
mine?
yes.
Yeah, it looks like a backwards galaxy.
I think it almost looks a bit more 3D than that though, as though the center's towards us and it's
Yeah, yep,
kind
absolutely.
of spinning towards us almost and throwing off, I don't know, some trails of arms and legs or something.
It's a pretty cool little image. Now, as a finish up, while we wait for Lee to spoil the Magellanic party, Magellan's going to be pretty pissed off about that, but we won't tell him. I just want to jump back across to Anne-Marie's,
There we
sorry,
go.
to Jen's image of tarantula. And the few little tweaky ideas that Lee gave her in the private chat that everybody saw because of Anne-Marie. We'll blame Anne-Marie for that. You can see the difference now from what Jen had before to now. It is much punchier, I guess, more nebulosity. In fact, to the left-hand side there, you can see a lot more nebulosity than you could before. More in the way of star cluster as well. So there's more happening from a cluster point of view below and above than there was before. So it really is. The large and small Magellanic Clouds really are quite active regions of the night sky.
Oh, there's
So if
so
you've got
much.
a telescope, if you've got astrophotography equipment, phones included, and you've got some fairly decent skies, and I'll say that because, like, if you kind of know what you're doing, and I feel like I kind of do, but I may well don't. Even I can get most of these major objects anyway. Not these small ones, but like Tarantula Nebula and 47 Tuck and some of the surrounding areas of these cloud areas with my scopes in, I guess, light polluted skies. There's a lot there to see. And that's the idea of tonight, is to show you that there's a lot in those areas to see. It's not just 47 Tuck. It's not just the large, it's not just the small Magellanic Cloud. It's not just 47 Tucanae. There's a lot of other areas of nebulosity, star clusters, whether they're open or globular, in those areas to see. And they're well worth exploring. Now, Lee, have you got your final image going of the not large or small Magellanic Cloud?
I'm just about to start on something. Where's that coming from? I think that's coming from Jen. I'm hearing a bit of repeat there.
We'll blame
where
Jen
was
while she's not listening.
So this is, I don't know if that's in there or not. What?
1809. I thought you were going to throw Orion at. I thought you were going to throw Orion at us.
I did, but you didn't want that.
No, I didn't want it because we hadn't finished yet. But now we're finishing. So if you want to,
we're finished.
If you want to throw Orion at us, which is well outside what we were streaming tonight, but bugger it, let's just do it. Let's just finish on Orion for a bit of fun. It's not the large, it's not the small Magellanic Cloud. It's neither of those. It's nothing in between those objects. But Lee was imaging it because Lee can't help himself.
Well,
we're quickly going to go back to Orion Nebula because it is the summer object. It is the object over the next, 4 to 6 months, really.
Yeah.
That most astrophotographers are going to spend their time looking at. So as a closeout to the large and small Magellanic Cloud images, let's have a look at Orion, which is nowhere near it, but bugger it. Why not?
Well, nowhere near it, but also, as you pointed out earlier, the difference in distance. I mean, this is 1,340. Is it 1,342 light years away, as opposed to
it's pretty close.
130,000?
Really close compared to Tarantula and everything else we've been looking at. This is like our next door neighbor. Really, when you think about it.
There goes Starlink or whatever.
Starlink. There you go, Starlink. Yeah, it's got to be Starlink. Skynet.
There was our LMDSS internet just went right past.
Skynet. Now, while you're doing that, I just want to say that once again, Starbecue raffle. Thank you to everyone who purchased tickets tonight. Much appreciated. Star Party, December 11th. Public tickets available on the ASV website and the ASV public Facebook page. Members tickets available on the Crux Extra and the Members Forum Facebook pages. We have the lovely 100-year anniversary happening next year. First event is what do we call it? The slideshow spectacular.
Extravaganza.
Slideshow spectacular. So we have it is near on 100-year-old slideshow. We have near on
magic lantern.
100-year-old lantern slide projector. We have glass plate slides with images dating back to the 1870s. And the idea is that we will share those along with around about 100 of those images, along with a 3-course dinner. So tickets are available for that. We have, as I said, the Starbecue happening. Mount Buller on the 4th of December. We have I guess, what do you call it? Public viewing night for those who are in the Mount Buller area. Once again, we've shared that one on our page. We'll also have that same night at Mount Buller on the 2nd of January. If you've got nothing else to do on the 2nd of Jan, I think it's the 2nd. Could be the 1st or 2nd of Jan. Following that, we have, as I said, the slideshow event on the 31st of January, and then Love Under the Stars. This time it is at the top of Mount Buller. Tickets will be on sale for that one shortly. But yeah, between now and Christmas, the ASV Starbecue, grab your tickets, get along to that, support us. Everyone who's given us stars tonight, thank you very much. Lee, what have we got there? This is
Orion
Nebula.
That's 4 at 30 seconds in HA. So not much. But that's where eventually I'll get something like that.
In that lime green colour, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Others might not, but I am quite a fan of it.
So that there's just using SHO. So that's sulfur for red, hydrogen for green, and oxygen for blue.
Now, Ian, can I just say that the January 31st slideshow event is a Monday night. It's not a weekend. I'll say that much now. So, yeah, that one's not a weekend. It's a Monday night, 7:30 p.m., 7 o'clock arrival, 7:30 p.m. kickoff till 11:30 p.m. It's going to be a cracker. Dress in your best 1930s inspired gear. It's 3-course meal. First drinks. Well, we get a drink upon arrival. It's going to be fun. We've got, as I said, the 1930s British Astronomical Association lantern slide projector, and we've got glass plate slides that are from 1933 with images from 1933 all the way backwards to 1870s, really, of the moon, of Orion, really, what we're looking at now. We've got some images from the 1920s of Orion. Of Mars, of Jupiter, Saturn, star clusters, other nebula, of Andromeda Galaxy. So images that are close to 100 years old that we'll be sharing live at the event through the original slide projector with its glass bulb light. It's going to be a cracker. All the information is on our website, on our Facebook page. And Lee has now turned to the moon. And that says to me that it is time for us to pack it in for the night.
Yep.
Because it's now Monday morning and some of us need to go to sleep.
Yep.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody, for coming along tonight to watch. Much appreciated. Some of us are going to go to bed, not me. The others of us are going to get our gear out and sit out in the night sky. Hope you had fun. Grab a raffle ticket if you can. Come along to the Starbecue if you can, or come along to the first of the many 100-year anniversary ASV events that we have coming to you from January onwards. Until we see you next time, thank you very much. And
see you later.
Yeah. Much appreciated. We'll see you next time. I think the next live stream, Lee, from memory, will be either the December public talk or it could well be the December Starbecue where we draw the raffle.
Could
watch
be.
our Facebook page for those events.